Adding basic content to a website is fairly straightforward. Here we've got a web page that's just been created from the template. It's just called basic content. There's nothing in there apart from the original header, which is a header 1, so I'm going to get rid of that to start with. Now I've got basically a blank content area. Now the easiest thing to do is just to type straight into here. So if I type in, basically I can control how that type looks by changing the format. So probably most of your type is going to be in paragraph style. If I wanted to put headings in and things like that, I can, as you've seen before, just simply type something in and either highlight it or click into it and change that to the relative heading. So heading 1, if I wanted to make it look like a heading 2, and so on. Something else you might want to do is to make use of tables. Now tables are really useful inside Dreamweaver and inside web pages to arrange your information nicely. So I'm going to go to Insert and Table, and I'm going to choose a table which has maybe got 2 rows by perhaps 4 columns, and I'm going to set it to, we'll try it at about 70% of the width of my page. Now I could set that to pixels, or I can use it as a percentage. It doesn't really matter, and we can change it at any point if we want to. Border thickness basically tells us whether we see the lines or not. If we've got a border thickness of 0, then basically the lines of the table are invisible. I'm going to actually crank this up a little bit so we can see it straight away, and we'll have a look at cell pattern and cell spacing afterwards. So I'm going to click OK. There's a table. Now at the moment the table's default alignment is to the left, so I can actually select my table and I can go down here and I can say, right, put my table in the middle of the page. What I might want to do is put some information into a cell, so I can type straight in. So I could just do something like picture 1. I could put picture 2. So putting text in is very straightforward. I either type it in or I copy and paste it in. Don't worry for the moment if the cells kind of get all mixed up in size. They'll all be easily to rearrange when you're ready to. What I'm going to do is put some pictures into those. So in my images folder I've got a couple of photos, and there's lots of different ways I can do it, but the easiest way is just literally to drag the picture where you want it. Now if you want to give it a name, you can. That just shows up in case the picture doesn't load properly. So I'm going to get picture 2, drag it in. You get the idea now. I'm just going to do it very quickly. Now one thing I did do was I used Photoshop to make sure that all my pictures were the same size. Now you can drag a picture in and then resize it in here. So for instance, down the bottom here it tells me that each of my pictures are 150 by 150. I could grab on one of these corners here and rearrange the picture myself, but that's not always the best way of doing that. Okay, I prefer to actually get the picture the size that I want before I start, and then it avoids me getting any problems later on. The alignment of the pictures can be changed in exactly the same way that the alignment of the table. So if I want this picture of Rihanna to be in the middle, I just go to Format, choose a line, say center it, and that puts that picture in the center of that cell, just to tidy things up. I can even do the same thing with my text headings. If I select all of those and I can align them, I can even bold them. I can even, if I wanted to, come in here and add some color to them, make them look different in some way. I guess pink should be pink. Now it's entirely up to me how I do any of this, but I would suggest that using tables is a good way of arranging your data inside your pages, and what you want to try and avoid is having big areas of empty space. You can basically, if you choose to, you can merge cells together. You can, once your table's actually set up, if you want to, you can go in and you can modify it and you can insert additional table objects if you want another row or another column and so on. If you want to delete rows, delete columns, you can do all that using the modify menu. One other thing just worth showing you in terms of basic content is you can insert basically what's called a HTML line that goes across there. So if we go to insert again, this time we're going to go to one that says HTML, and I'm going to go for one called the horizontal rule. And horizontal rule just literally does exactly that. It puts a line rule right the way across the page. So you can use this to divide up content. I'm just going to put my head in here to make it look nicer. Put pictures, and I'm going to turn that into a heading 1. And if I want to just preview that, I'll just save it first of all, hit File and Save, and then I'll preview that in Internet Explorer. You can see what it looks like. So there's my horizontal line, my horizontal rule. There's all my photos and so on. Now this is what I said, you can see the actual thickness of this table because I've got a border thickness of 4. If I don't want to see that, I just come back down, select my table again, and where my border thickness is I can change it to 0. And the other thing I was going to show you was cell padding and cell spacing. All that does is basically put in gaps between the edges of the cells and the actual things that are in them. So now if we save that and look at that one, you'll see the difference. Okay, so now I've got gaps around the edges from where the cells are, and I haven't got any lines that I can see on there at all. So it's entirely up to you whether you use tables with border thicknesses or invisible lines, but I would suggest you use tables wherever you can to arrange your data, because it makes it easier to arrange it in your page.